everyone, this is TJ Wharton with Maryville College. I'm here today with Figure It Out Baseball for the last step of the progression for warm-up routine while hitting. Okay, as you can see here, we've got a med ball, got a brick wall, any firm surface would work. Okay, but we're going to be focusing on rotational med ball throws into a wall. The reason this is so good for warming up before hitting is because you're actually getting the hip sequencing into your warm-up. Okay, it's not just warming up your body, you're actually warming up the sequence that you'll be using hip while hitting. There's two things to really make sure that we don't do while doing this is that I don't want to see any light throws. Okay, the reason we're using a firm wall right here is that we can throw it as hard as we can. Okay, and that's the goal, is to throw it as hard as we can. Okay, there's way too many times I see people just playing patty cake with the wall. Make sure you throw it as hard as you can. Second thing is to make sure that you load into that back hip. This is just working on that loading phase of while hitting, okay? Many times that we'll see people just go, and this is the same problem that we have while hitting. Some amateurs have a tough time really focusing on loading into that back hip or posterior chain. Okay, there's two rotationals. The first one's just gonna be a traditional rotational med ball toss. The second one I'll show you is a step back. This is something similar to hitters that you see like Nolan Arenado with the St. Louis Cardinals. Is you'll see that he'll stomp like this. Okay, he'll stomp like this, and the reason is that it get loaded here. So when we do the step back, it has the same purpose. Now, here's a lesson within a lesson. The way that I'm going to introduce both of these to you is going to be called a wooden. And what I mean by that is I'm going to show you how not to do it, how to do it, and then how not to do it. Okay, and that's called a wooden from the legendary coach at UCLA, John Wooden. Okay, first we'll start with the traditional. Okay, we'll grab here, make sure that we're loading into that back hip. Okay, so if I weren't, I would just get here and go like this, right? I didn't load into my back hip and just toss it very soft against the wall. Here's the correct way. Here's the incorrect way. Right? Do we get that? Okay, so the second one that we can do for the warm-up progression is a step back. So all we're doing is here, then going. Step back, go, correct. Right? That's the correct way of doing it. Right here. Okay? There are many med ball progressions that you can look up online that are just as good for warming up for hitting, but those are just a couple that you can do before you get into the cage. Make sure your body's ready. Again, this was TJ Wharton with Maryville College. Thanks for coming to Figure It Out Baseball today.
Thanks for tuning in to Figure It Out Baseball. If you're watching on the figureitoutbaseball.com website, I hope you check out the Figure It Out Baseball store and grab yourself some gear to help support this totally free resource. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you keep up with all the cool stuff that we do. For you podcast listeners, we've also got our podcast now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. Figure It Out Baseball, the home of hundreds of free videos from dozens of college and professional coaches and specialists from great schools like this. So tell your friends about figureitoutbaseball.com, the world's #1 online coaching tool.